this is Potato, and I'm just going to show you my game that I've been working on. It is kind of like Clank the board game, and it's a 1v1 where two players are racing through a dungeon to try to collect the most loot possible. And I'm trying to make it entirely using commands and redstone in Minecraft. So this video is going to be broken apart into 3 segments. One where I explain the abilities and like everything that I've made so far. One where I explain the map, and one where I explain the basic idea of what the game is. So let's get. In this game, there are 2 teams. Blue team over here, and red team way up in that corner. They're both going to be in this huge map, where they're going to try to go in, get as much loot as possible, and get out. They collect loot through killing mobs, and exploring the world, doing quests, which they can do with NPCs, or breaking pots. So if they find a pot in the world, they can come up to it, break it, and there's going to be randomized loot pulled from this selection of items that they can get. And different items give different point values, and also can help with the adventure along the way. Like abilities here. So there's abilities that give you speed, there's abilities that give you damage, there's abilities that can just like get you coins or experience. And they're all are collected through pots and killing mobs, so that eventually you can level up your build and be powerful enough to collect all the resources you need and hopefully get out alive with the other player. The game is being broken into a time that I don't really know yet, probably about 15 to 30 minutes, and you're going to go into the dungeon and try to get more loot than the other player in that time and get out. If you don't get out in that time, mobs are going to start rapidly spawning, and you're either going to die and lose, or you're gonna make it out and get more loot than the other person because you've been in the dungeon longer. So it's a decision of what you want to do. When you die in the game, though, instead of just being eliminated, you're gonna be sent to another world. You're gonna have to do a challenge that wastes your time and your abilities in order to get back up to the main area. These challenges could include combat challenges, parkour, and like puzzles, so that you'd have to spend time to escape the dungeon, which is a downside. Each player starts in a starting room, and they're gonna have to bring all of their resources they collect back to their tent in order to score them. If they don't make them back, they don't score any points. This game is broken up into 5 distinct sections. There's the market, which is the main central hub of the game, where you're gonna meet the most villagers. There's the main bulk of the game, which is based on a trading center for the dwarves. There's a starting area for each player, so one over here for blue and one over here for red. And there's going to be a hard section of the game, which is like a temple Indiana Jones kind of style thing, where you're going to run through it, and there's going to be harder enemies like Vindicators and whatnot. It's going to be themed around like darker stones, probably a tough or deep slate, and it's going to have Vindicators and harder mobs, maybe even like Ravagers or whatnot. The red player starting area is just a pretty basic tunnel. You have 2 ways to get to the market. You can go from your starting room. You can either go left and go in slightly into the harder area, and then this tunnel curves in a way that guides you into the village. And signs in this game are used like the Dwarvish language. So Torpal Site is like just made up language for trading center, and Van Dexter is made up language for village. So each player has one of those options. So over here, blue, if they go right, left here, they will go through up here, and they can go past this sub area of the prison, and then go into the village, or they can go right and go through the new tunnel area, because it's like new and not high ceilings yet, because it hasn't been discovered for very long, and then go through here, and then see the sign for the Van Dexter village, and come into here. The village is nowhere near done. I want there to be bustling shops everywhere, and there's a lot of lore for the village. So, for instance, I've marked out some of these stops, like the stairs can go here to go up to the top level, and like the Lonely Wizard would go there. The Gate Master to go to the harder areas right about here. And there's also going to be lore to this world. I'm not sure, so I would love your suggestions, but my basic idea is that the world, the hobbits were up above, or hobbits or dwarves, I don't really know what to call them yet. They were up above, and the gods of the world were displeased with them. So they were banished down to the underground, where they have been living out in society peacefully and trading with other nations to stay alive. These 6 gods, they still worship and still care for deeply in hopes that one day they will forgive them and let them back up to the real world. So they have shrines for them everywhere, but they have never been like seen these gods face to face in hundreds of years because they've been down here for so long. Especially the god Castanry, because as the dwarves have taken up magic, the art of weapon crafting has become less essential for their society and have enraged Castanry. So these 5 gods are trying to keep Castanry under control as his wrath is like going through the kingdom, and that's what causes the end of the game cycle where all the mobs start spawning and you have to make it out. The god of death, Corcane, is also an essential game component because when you die, like how I was talking about, if you die before the end of the game happens, when Castanry's raid is unlocked, you get sent to the underworld, which you'll meet Corcane, and he's gonna give you a trial, and if you beat his trial, he'll let you come back to this world to help them. That's all of it for the map that I've done. So next, we're gonna move on to the ability segment. Abilities, like, they're probably the most essential part of the game. There are currently 25 in the game, and they're split into 5 categories. You have red abilities, which are activatable. So, for instance, this one heals you 4 hearts. If I crouch, that would activate it, and it would have healed me 4 hearts if I had taken any damage. And they have a cooldown, and then it'll above your hotbar say ready when it's ready. So that takes like 3 seconds for it to cool down. The blue spells are, if they're in your hotbar at any time, they activate. So, for instance, this one is a speed spell. If it's anywhere in my hotbar, I get speed. But if it's not in my hotbar, like in my inventory, it goes away. Yellow spells, they are if you're held in your hand. So this one, if you hold in your hand, you get speed. But if you're not holding your hand, it goes away immediately. The next type of spell is purple spells, which are one-time use. So, for instance, if I activate the Candaway, I'll get warp to the market, but then the spell is gone. See how it's no longer in my hotbar or my inventory. The last type of spell is green spells, which are identical to red spells, except they require 1 level XP to use. So if I just go into survival real quick, activating this will take away 1 level of XP. Now I have 37. So they require a resource to use, but they normally are more powerful. Like, they can summon help. Like, this one summons a zombie, a friendly zombie. This one makes XP do a bunch of damage, which is really powerful. And it's just teleportation, which I felt like was pretty good. In case you're wondering, this is the setup for how pots are going to have randomized loot. So, like, swirly pots will give a guaranteed ability. Diamonds give, like, rare and valuable resources, such as artifacts that are worth points. These give food and healing. And this just means tier 3, tier 2, and basic pots that have, like, basic stuff, better stuff, better stuff. So that's abilities for you. And all. So that was the game that I've been working on so far. It's nowhere near done, but I hope that sharing what I've done so far gives you a better idea of what I'm expecting for the future, and maybe give me some ideas. So, bye.